Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after big news. With us today, he's back again, and his news keeps getting bigger and bigger. Bernard Tourillon, Chairman, CEO of HPQ Silicon Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol HPQ, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under UGE. Now, for those of you who are new to the story, and you're going to get really familiar with this stock in the next 6 months, because this is a company that's planned to become a vertically integrated producer of silicon, different grades of silicon, right up to solar grade silicon metal, with the goal eventually of manufacturing solar cells at the lowest cost and the lowest carbon footprint. More than just lip service, they've proven and advanced their process with some world-class partners, including Pyrogenesis Canada and Apollon Solar, a global leader in plasma torch and a global leader in renewable energies. Here to talk about the latest press release about commercialization. Bernard, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, George.
So I'm going to go straight after the quote, because I read this quote, I saw that, and I said, wow. And I'm going to read it here. We're ready to start commercializing our PUREVAP QRR technology. We are aiming to completely revolutionize the economics of the $24 billion silicon industry and create significant cash flow. You've never said that before, but since 2015, you've been going through intense testing, retesting, graduating, moving up, scaling up. This is the first time we're hearing about commercialization cash flow. What do you know that we don't? What can you share with us about what's going to be happening in the next 6, 9, 12 months?
Well, it's sort of a pretty well written the card. We're building a pilot plant to demonstrate commercial scalability, which basically means that, you know, we're building it and it's still advancing online, so we're going to be starting commercialization. What we've learned over the last few months, which is sort of a conclusion of everything we've learned over the last few years, is that the PUREVAP process has its place in the silicon environment, and it will revolutionize if we hit the target that we believe we're going to be hitting that, which is in CapEx, CapEx and OpEx reduction, in efficiency and everything else. So, you know, there's going to be within Pyrogenesis plant, there'll be a 3,000 square foot pilot plant that's going to be operational, which means we can start to bring industry people to take a look at them after they sign a ton of NDAs and no cameras allowed. And we're going to be starting to show that we can do it cheaper than anybody else can. So,
Bernard, you know, one thing that's been consistent about HPQ is you've been telling us how you're going to progress the company, how you're going to move from a Gen 2 to a Gen 3 pilot plant. One thing that I noticed that's different in this press release, though, are the markets that you were going to go after, because for a long time, the emphasis has been on solar, and it's still there as an emphasis, but now it looks like you think you've got great opportunity in industrial grade silicon, in silicon for solar, and silicon for batteries. So tell us why you're optimistic about why those other markets are attainable as well.
You have to understand the PUREVAP advantage, okay, which is, and we've demonstrated, an ability to be incredibly scalable, all right? So what we can do is we can start producing cheaper than anybody else in the industry at a very small scale, which gives us an incredible flexibility and advantage, which allows us to attack the multiple niche markets that are there in this presently $14 billion a year industry, which is the silicone industry, okay? Which is gonna grow to $24 billion a year industry, okay? So you have an industry that has been growing, inching away from the metallurgic one that was done for aluminum, for the industry, for the car industry, okay? And which is now moving more into the high-tech silicones or solar grade polysilicon type of producing, okay? And If I read the numbers from the expert correctly, there's going to be a 1 million ton shortage. Right? But there's a 1 million ton shortage on an extremely small profit margin for these guys, not for us, but for them. So it's going to make investment in that industry very difficult. And we come in just at the right time. You know, there's trade wars and everything else, so people are trying to secure more local sourcing of everything else. Well, we have a technology that's flexible, that can be moved anywhere else. We have a technology that's designed to live with the disinflation world that we're living in. We're reducing the cost of making it. And what happens is the more you reduce the cost of making material, more demand for the material keeps going up. But the beauty of it is we can tailor-make our product to high niche value products. Okay, batteries is an enormous one. Right now, barely between 4 to 6%. There's only 4 to 6% per weight of silicone in the silicone lithium batteries. Okay, the work is being done by tons of people to push it to 40. That's going to drive demands up. And in battery, they need at least 3N purity.
So is silicon on its way to becoming a bigger part of batteries, or are we hoping it's going to go that way?
It's in the process of becoming, okay, in the sense that it's known that it delivers better batteries. Right? The biggest problem with renewable energy right now is the fact it generates energy when you don't really need it. That's
right.
That's the $100 billion problem. All right. There's millions of dollars have been created over this, spent over that, and everything else. That's going to become a very big driver. Now, the problem is that everybody that's playing in this field isn't a silicone manufacturer. And it can't be a silicone manufacturer produce 400,000 tons a year that's going to worry about 2,000, 3,000 ton a year material, even though that material is going to sell a higher price than solar is selling right now. We're perfectly fitted for that. So we have the perfect model for this, okay?
Is it a stretch to say you can see the day, you know, in the next 4 or 5 years, I'm not trying to put any pressure on there, where you've got HPQ Silicon powered solar wafers, solar cells that are driving energy into HPQ Silicon powered batteries?
Is involved in so many things that people don't realize, okay? And that's the funny part, because it is one of those industrial products, been there for such a long time, that's having more and more high tech, high value, high usage, okay, for our day-to-day living. And this is where we fit in perfectly for this, because we are developing a process, okay, which is scalable, doesn't requiring us, you know, $300 million investment just to start. That's a big change. You know, we have almost no barriers to entry. We can partner with different group of people and create those technology group together without having us to become everything else, but we can participate in every one of those foray and succeed very, very well. So yes, that is the vision that we're having. This is why in this press release, I'm really starting to say, there is a life past solar. Solar is going to be big. Solar is going to be there. But in the meantime,
start off with industrial grade silicon, because that's a $7.5 billion market today. Mm-hmm. That's going to grow pretty quickly to $12 billion by 2023. Because silicon for solar is almost there too, about $7 billion, going to about $12 billion also, but that's by 2028. So
that's how. And right now, assuming only 6% per weight in batteries is silicone, okay, that becomes another $1 billion market, okay. So if it becomes 12%, that's a $2 billion a year market. We, on the other hand, can make tailor-made material to the quality required by an end client, basically of any purity up to 4N. This is what we know right now. And if we add an additional step, which we know what to do and everything else, which is sort of the equivalent to the other step, the traditional, we could probably make 6N without a big issue about it. Is it enough to be solar? There's enough, you know, there's enough qualification and everything else. This is why I'm not pushing that part of the discussion too long, because for me, the 4N market, we're there.
So what does the next 6 months look like for everyone at home who's watching this? And, you know, you've gone through, you know, you've gone through smaller and smaller steps, and you're scaling up. What does the next 6-9 months look like for the company?
For us right now, getting the commercial yield up to 90%, demonstrating we can go to 4N, finalizing our costing of everything else, and then it's just a question of, okay, those are the numbers. Let's go build a commercial plant. Let's go sign an offtake agreement with a partner for XYZ. There's so many applications where it can come in where we can fit in very, very well. So, you know, we've already started preliminary discussion with people, but and as soon as the pilot, you know, I have people telling me, as soon as your pilot plant is operational, call us, we'll come and visit. So,
and I noticed that you're very relaxed, you know, very relaxed about, so you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to attain market share in some of these markets.
This is a game where the lowest cost producer gets the market. So being the lowest cost producer, but being able to tailor-make my production to outpatient means to clients, means I can go after the niche markets that are extremely high value, okay, in a way that my competitor can't.
You'd have that kind of cost advantage, because we've never really seen
that. It looks like we could have that type of cost advantage, yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what we said. You know, it's going to become clear once the Gen 3 is operational, but you know, there's an issue. We issued it. We wrote about it. If you're building a silicon metal plant right now, okay.
The issue is not for you. The issue is for the industry.
This is for the industry. If you're building using non-PUREVAP technology, a silicon manufacturing plant right now, okay, you will be beholden to one of your competitor for one of the raw material you need to make it. That's how insane the industry is, because it's not quartz that's the key ingredient, it's carbon. And it's written everywhere in the literature. There's only 2 sources in the world for traditional plant, not for the PUREVAP, traditional plant, that can grant you that carbon, that clean, low ash carbon, okay? One plant is owned by Ferroglobe, the other one is called Columbia Coal, okay? Two sources. We don't have to bother with these sources.
Last question. The Gen 3, how's timing looking for the Gen 3 pilot plant coming online?
It looks like we're still online to come online by the end of the year. I'm not overwhelmingly worried about that part of the business.
Well, Bernard, if there's one thing that's come through in this interview, is that you're not worried about any part of this business right now, and that's pretty confident, I got to tell you. So I'm looking forward to when you're coming back and what's going to be developing, you know, in the second half of 2019, because that quiet confidence almost tells me you've got something up your sleeve, and I'm not saying you do, but you know, seems like you're not worried whatsoever. You've got the right markets targeted, you've got the right cost structure, you've got the right process. So I guess you've earned that confidence, and looking forward to seeing how that actually, you know, turns into commercialization, because that's what came out of your quote. That was the most encouraging thing for me. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
You've been watching Bernard Tourillon, Chairman CEO of HPQ Silicon Resources, trades on the TSX Venture Exchange out of the stock symbol HPQ, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under UGE. Pretty sophisticated technology, especially for those of you who are finding it for the first time. Get to Agoracom, do your due diligence. Punch the company's name or stock symbol, take a look at the profile section, and then take a look at that, and then go into the videos that we've done with Bernard and watch a few of those, especially the ones in 2019. Because if you're a fan of renewable energy, if you believe that solar is going to be a big part of our future, if you believe that batteries, renewable energy batteries are going to be a big part of our future, then you've got to do your due diligence on HPQ Silicon, because what they've done up until now, and remember, they're not doing this in a vacuum. They're doing it with Pyrogenesis Canada, who's a global leader in plasma torch technologies, and Apollon Solar, one of the world's leaders in renewable energy. So they've got a great team over there. You owe it to yourself to dig deep. The sun is shining. This is the perfect time of the year to take a close look at HPQ Silicon. Have a great day. See you next time.